it turned
Baba
into that?
Yaga.
I didn't think so.
No, I'm Lindsay
So why don't you
Denneberg.
give me a little bit of
Are you
fucking
shitting?
slack?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I
Have you ever
directed
turned
this
salami
thing.
into a sausage roll?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
Hi,
Have you ever
I'm
pink
Chris
sucked your
Shields.
butthole?
I did
didn't
what
think
Lindsay
so,
told
sir.
me to do.
It's similar
But
life,
I
but in the
also,
front and much more painful.
wrote the film and acted in it.
Who are you?
I'm Nick Moore. I just said the phrase, pink suck your butthole. So that's where I'm going on with my life. End credit.
I'm Sarah. I wrote Killer Makeover along with two other
Pink Suck Your
writers,
Butthole.
and I
That's such a
starred
good
in the
title.
film.
Or Wizard Sleep Your Butthole?
Wizards see
Thank
my
you.
butthole?
Yeah, Wizard Sleep.
Hello
That's when you have a
guys,
prolapse.
William.
Oh, I love prolapse. It looks so cool.
I'm
Feels like inverted.
Wait,
dick.
you're
going
pro-prolapse.
to interview
pro-prolapse.
You're not
this
anti-prolapse.
guy.
No, I've seen the pictures.
They made this film called Killer Makeover.
It's part of my screensaver.
You just
Yeah, I'm not
Google
kidding.
pro-
Fucking watch it
I have
and
a
make your
prolapse on my
films
screensaver,
come
so-
true.
The cervix is called. It is.
And you also the space.
Yeah.
I love my
Yeah,
Pink Suck Your Butthole.
this place is called No Nation, and then
I just saw
it was
it.
one of the main locations of the film. No Nation.
There's just certain poetry when I.
So we have been shooting this film in this house for the last 2 weeks. Killer Makeover, Lindsay Denneberg. These guys are amazing and very, very, very inspiring filmmakers that are making the work that they do with what they have. And what they have goes beyond the idea of and the perception that what you have is this amazing, huge space to shoot on. What they have is what they have, and what they have is this one camera, one tripod, and a green space in this house, and then we're gonna go and talk to them. We're watching a little bit. Make love once again.
Hello? Are you going to do an interview?
We are doing the interview.
So am I part of the interview or no?
Yes, you are.
Really? What should I say? Tell me.
I think we should go to the room and talk to the other guys, everyone at the same time.
Okay, let's do it. Are you sure? The movie's still happening.
It ends with a very avant-garde party scene that makes no sense.
As all good movies do.
Just like Easy Rider.
Yeah, man. But that was a graveyard. We can't.
Hey,
afford
guys.
that.
Yeah, we can't take this to New Orleans.
So we're
Mile
here at No Nation. We're just conducting this interview with the filmmakers and awesome people that made this happening. Which is like Killer Makeover. This is Lindsay and Chris right there. Sarah,
You can take out your glasses too.
main character of the film, and
William, also in the
William,
Yes.
a minor star of the film.
I am a minor star,
Not minor.
star
There's a
Wow.
core.
of the film.
film. Sorry, the film.
He owns a big
And,
location.
The scene stealer.
Yes.
This is also
The
a
Witch.
stealer over his
Yeah.
Tears
behind
up.
us.
That's why it's good to be there.
And behind you directly is also a scene
Like
stealer.
great scenes.
Oh.
Since
Dawn and the
Dawn
Night.
in the Night.
Credited as
Yeah.
such.
So I just want to like open the space for questions, the questions and discussion about like the process of this film, which I admired because of how simple it was, you know, because of how skeleton-y it was. And I really admire the fact that it was just like a go through through anything that was happening. It was like we're making the film, we're showing what is happening, and we're making the film and showing what's happening with what we have.
Yeah.
Which I think is like really, really important in terms of like, it's like we're in the present, we already have the technology that it takes to make the things do what they do and like convey the ideas that we have.
Yeah.
I just want to hear you guys talk about how what this process was for you, you know?
Well, I can say that I haven't worked with Chris and Lindsay before on a film. Chris is my boyfriend, so I've worked with him in many ways. You know what I mean?
What, do you have like a time card on that? This seems very formal.
Wow.
But
She's going
listen,
she's going
tomorrow
like
who knows what's
Carson
gonna
style.
happen.
Like, oh, you
But,
owe me overtime.
But I will say that in terms of like they brought a certain technical ability that they can get into more. But when we first got here, the first day pretty much, we went to a thrift store to get some clothing for some of the characters.
Walk my
And
vein.
Lindsay comes through with a cart with all these fabrics, comforters, curtains, all this crap. I don't know if I can curse on this. All this fucking shit in this cart, and then we go to the setups that were originally inside an apartment before we came here, Lindsay's apartment, and there's all this stuff. And you see her just stapling shit to the walls and putting all this stuff together. And also what we saw here in front of the green screen, with so many sets were just covered in these fabrics and stuff. And you think like, this person's out of her mind. And then you see everything come together, and just the ability just to cover something in fabric, just to layer things on top of one another, just to bring someone in and put these costumes together that are just multiple layers of different things, and all of a sudden it looks real and it looks like something that you can understand. It kind of blew my mind. It was something I wasn't really ready for, but I'm a believer now.
Yeah, I think that's the process, is just taking the things that nobody else wants and making art out of it if you can.
Well, you really adopted the two walkie-talkies and making a phone. You were the phone master.
Yeah, we just make, you have to make something in the moment and use it, and it's playing, but it's also practical. And you're great at that.
Oh, you're great at it too.
Well, but
You've adopted.
Alright, let's cut the shit. I worked 4 days on this fucking picture. It was a living hell. A living hell. No payment.
Yeah.
I used my car. I sent invoices. I got fucking nothing on this fucking thing.
well,
They're nice, but
but
come on.
listen.
I got fucking taxes.
Can I tell you one thing? Listen, and in all due respect, you get what you pay for.
That's true. Yeah.
But also,
Hey, I told you going in I was a piece of shit. I told you I was no good. I told you I was a
lest
fucking
we
dog.
forget, there were 3 different flavors of Pringles here at any given time. Kickin' chicken taco.
3 for $5.
Pizza
The
flavor.
things we did to our bodies to make this movie, the jump
You're not
scene.
even a vegetarian anymore.
The things we willingly
I redact
did
my
to our
complaints
bodies.
because of the Pringles.
But as far as the skeleton, the green screen is the canvas, and it's a good canvas, and it's a new technology, it's this technology, and we just put, little things in front of it. It's collage, I think,
Yeah. Fucking shit.
I mean, it's been said that Florida breeds some real lunatics, and these two,
I think it's been proven.
it's been proven. Just look at the news at any given time, and these two are the
Both Lindsay and Chris were in bath salts the entire
two
time.
true Florida lunatics who don't even need bath salts.
Yeah.
No,
They
it's
might need
true.
some other drugs.
Yeah. I do like baths though.
Wait a minute. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because I'm like the outsider here, and I want to ask a question to Chris and Sarah.
Yes.
Like, I want to know, because I was watching some of the dailies, right? And it's really fascinating because, to me, as an outsider, I was talking to Lindsay about how you really pulled this dynamic. I had not seen, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but the way that you had to play the dichotomy between the different characters.
Yeah.
This is not a promo for
No.
PBR.
Yeah. I thought it was, but
No.
I like Belgian. I don't like the
money.
Iranian.
but you'll drink
Make some money on this.
For the record.
No, but honestly though, like Okay, a dorky question. I want to know, like, getting into Chicago, what do you do? Like how do you get into character? I really want to know because like I was kind of not hearing like all of the words, but like I understood the character so much so that I was telling Lindsay that I'm like explaining the character. I'm like, this character is so.
There's something going on.
There's a fight internally that's happening. I'm like, is this what I'm witnessing? And you're like, you explained it to me, and I was like, what? And then I understood because I was listening to what you were saying.
Yeah, she was actually
like, how do you like build that character into?
Well, Lindsay, when we started writing it, she's like, "Do you want to play twins?" And I'm fascinated by like twins in films, so I was like, "Okay, I'll play. I really want to do that, you know." And so we were writing it, and then eventually the conclusion happens where kind of one is pretending to be the other, and I was like, that would be like the ultimate kind of challenge, you know. And essentially it was just to try to, it's hard to say consciously how it happened, but just try to meld those two people, like pretty much physically, to do the facial gestures of one person with the voice of another person, you know.
Correct.
You know.
Yeah.
And but as far as like I don't know, like
where do you pull that character from? Like where are we coming from with
I
that?
think both of them are like
a crazy uncle or what?
well, one of them is definitely my father, like the interpretation of my father, and then the other, the villainous kind of character, I think is just the ultimate expression of just like who I would maybe want to be. You know what I mean? Like just like ridiculous, you know, snide, and just all my energy put out there like that. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, is that?
I guess, yeah. It's just fun too. I mean, just they were very natural for me because I think I wrote something I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was a little before like the twins discussion came up, like trying to figure out which character you'd play and everything.
Yeah,
So-
this is like the greatest, most fun opportunity to do.
Can I like build on that question?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
jumping on that,
No,
but
please.
like, can I just ask you, like, walking away from the experience, because I'm just here after the aftermath. Like the set, it's not an aftermath really. It's like green screen.
There's
it's
no
just
math, but
so,
yeah,
like,
it's after.
Yeah, like, what is it like for you that you can take away from this film that like before you didn't have?
I think again.
Like kind of like dorky growth question / stupid ass like.
No, I think it's a great question because it's like, why do it?
Do you want to hire? Can I hire you? Stupid ass question.
No,
like,
no, I think-
I don't want to mean.
No, I think that's
yeah.
a great question. I think like really what I always take away is that we did this and like that it just opens up again like, oh, this is possible. You know, like we took very little besides the help of great people and made something that we're really proud of, you know?
Is it
And
easy for you to work on green screen like that?
I think for me, I didn't really know how it worked until you showed me.
Till like nothing was really important. Just
Yeah.
I'll key it out later.
But I think it is easy. I think because the green screen is like the closest to like, you know, just a blank slate, like imagination, just putting things there. And you have a very rich imagination, and I don't
thank
have
you.
much of an imagination at all. So it's like kind of like the
Desolate.
Fucking liar.
two of us together. You know, I think green screen is good. I learned to like it a lot.
I know you have a lot of ideas of people floating in like ponds and everything, and water dying and shit. So you know the romanticism is in.
Yeah, I like
So-
green screen. I think it's a great tool, and I think you use it in like a really interesting way. You
Yeah,
know?
and I hate green, so it works. So yeah, especially that color green. Like puke green's great, but like regular green is stupid. So
The best thing that happened with the green screen though is the cat puked on it.
3 times. And also just had a lot of
It was
fun
adorable.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
wait, was it easier to stay in character with green screen, or like did it stress you more, or like press you more to
Because it had mix
imagine
and everything.
without a prop there? Like some actors are like, I can't be there.
I'm walking through. I mean, playing off another person was like, you know, like made it really good for me. But I feel like almost like the green screen is great. It's like an abstract space, and like you're just in the scene. It actually kind of makes it easier, I think, because it's just such an imaginary space.
Yeah.
You know, like
Fucking trying to figure out like the eye line. I'm like, Chris, help me. Constantly. So I don't understand. So I hate the green screen, honestly.
wow. I
Yeah.
learned to love it, but you did all the
There you
work,
go.
so yeah.
You hate what you love.
Yeah,
And the
and
fortune cookie.
that has something to do with this question that I have. That makes me think about like people that want to like or kids, you know, want to do
The youth of a
and
nation.
shoot a film in the way that they want, and that is one of the things that I mostly appreciate about this. The way of filmmaking is that anyone can shoot a film
Yeah.
in this way. So I wanted to ask you guys a very simple question, and it's about like what you guys use, you know, what type of like what were like the elements that you used, like what type of like a what was the size of your green screen sheets?
That's a good question.
What type of lights you use? You know, I know that you used like 3 like lights. What's the name of the lights?
I mean, like for me, walking on the set, it's like soft boxes.
Soft boxes.
Honestly,
yeah.
like to pull this off, it's not. It looks simple, but it takes a lot of
You have to know.
thought behind it.
It's just
Yeah.
it's like a pretty inexpensive 3-light photo.
It's a
kit.
$300 photo kit that you can get on Amazon.
Yeah.
So Google Ads, first thing that comes up,
Yeah.
and I took it.
So like okay, if someone wants to shoot a
Soft
film,
box.
if someone wants to shoot a
3
film
soft boxes.
and they want to like
Yeah.
find this
You put
out,
them together though.
what
you
should
did
they
all the
look
hard
for?
work.
What is it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, or how is it called? You know, like what type of like a
She
stand?
doesn't remember.
If someone wants to make a
camera we
film,
shot on either. I don't know.
Well, the camera we shot was the Canon,
Canon something.
T6i.
I didn't know there was a
So-
T involved.
And,
So
which,
There's a T in there.
and then
I knew
I don't know what the
EX3 back
kit is
in the
called,
day.
but she says if you go on Amazon, the first
then you
green
Google
screen.
Amazon. I don't know if it's still available, but yeah, just Google it. So.
But yeah, it's, I mean,
but what? No, it's like when I want to have something clear. It's like I want for someone that is like looking at this, for them to have the instructions and the know of like, okay, I want to do something like this. What do I need?
I have the answer.
What do I need
Good
to
question.
like shoot a film?
The cheapest
like
thing
this?
you could find on Amazon.
yeah, just,
How is it called? How is
true,
it called?
though.
What is the name? It's like, yeah, if I type like the cheapest thing that I can get on
maybe
Amazon,
it's
is like
maybe it's on the bag.
anything. But I want to know like what type of lights you got that were the cheapest. Oh no, at least like what was the thing that you used? Like what lights you used? What
They
camera
just came
you
in the
used?
kit.
Yeah, like it was regular.
And what was the name of the kit?
like environmentally safe light bulbs. I don't know. So, seriously,
we
like
have it.
whatever's cheapest at the time
We
when
have
you
it
are
right
making
now.
a movie, take it.
Bring the
So
whole kit.
yeah, like I have no money.
Is
So-
Chris bringing some of the kid film stuff?
I don't. Yeah, Chris
Okay,
is coming
Chris,
with a
Chris,
bag.
Excuse
right
me, I have a
Right,
shithead
very
two-part
important.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Where
is
do you
very important. This is very important.
number one, where do you get your ideas from? And number two, what advice do you have to upcoming filmmakers?
All right, so I'll
Throwing it
get
out
my
there.
ideas from Chris
Get in there.
because he came up with this idea. And then what was the other question?
Yeah. Where do you get your ideas from? And
This
what
is
advice
it.
do you have to upcoming filmmakers?
this is like
Oh, advice. Amazon cheapest.
part of a green screen photo light kit.
Price low to high.
This is the
Yeah.
bag and the
Amazon
stands
price
came
Borrowing
in
cheaper
here.
friends. So.
And it came with the stands, came with the green screen. We borrowed another green screen from Nick. And
We had
Yeah,
I
just a
bought
3-light
3
setup.
green screen sheets.
yeah, 3 green screen sheets. We
I
used
think
2 of
another
them.
tip would be to just have a certain fair amount of space.
Yeah.
You could set everything up. And
Yeah.
so that the lighting in the space won't be too conflicting with the lighting that you're trying to shine on the green screen to make sure it's lit up properly so you can project images onto it afterward
Yeah.
in After Effects. And then I would say also, sound-wise, there's a train that runs out from here, just right behind
pause.
this space. When you hear the train come and pause, that's what
During
we
a take.
did. But I think the other thing is that it's just like if you have the patience and the belief in the people that you're working with, sounds kind of cheesy, but you just you wait for the train, and when the train stops,
happy.
you start again, and it's not like, oh fuck this fucking train. You just deal with what's happening. You're thankful for the fact that you have, like William Space, a great space to work with. You're thankful for the fact that you have people who are willing to do all of the work. It's hard work, and you have to just do things like wait for the train, and then you hold your face, and then you keep going.
Like,
and
when you say hard work, can I ask you a question? Like, hard work, how many hours a day do you put in typically?
I don't remember.
it depended
On this shoot,
Yeah.
but in general.
It depended on the day, obviously, but I mean, sometimes we would get here at 10, and then we'd be here until 1.
Really?
You know, you're not.
1 a.m.
Yeah.
I was like 1 p.m. That
No, I wish that was a day.
Let you at 1 p.m. What was I doing?
10 to 12 hours.
Yeah, but,
yeah.
You know, but I mean, obviously,
Good
like,
for the
you're
humans.
not filming the whole time. I mean, there's times
You're making
when you make a
sandwiches, you're
sandwich
hanging out.
and you know,
Pasta.
hang out and do whatever. But you know, I mean, for this shoot, we had to do like a lot of makeup and a lot of stuff like that.
You had to do a
and
lot
I
of
did-
makeup.
I fucking had to look at my face a lot.
Not near
It
right
has its
there.
own challenges. But you know, it's a lot of work. But I think it's a lot of work either way. If you don't like it and like the people that you're around, and you don't think that it's going to be good at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it probably would be the worst time of your life.
Yeah.
But it's like if you are doing all of that work and you believe in it and you know that it's going to be good and you think it's going to be, and I don't mean good in the sense of like what everyone thinks is good. It's about what defining your idea of what good means and what
Worthwhile.
cool
Yeah,
and what
yeah.
and what you know that investment of time means to you. And if you're shooting for that ideal and you feel like you're making it, then it, you know, is it tiring? Of course, but it's also worth it.
Yeah. Unless it sucks, then we're fucked. But I think it'll be good.
It
Yeah.
could suck, but we'll be
It
fine.
could suck.
And define suck.
It will literally drain the life.
I mean,
the
the
point where they're
worst
Dusty
Married with
Dutchy
Children
skeletons.
episode
Yeah,
still
exactly.
runs like the best shit now.
The opening crowd will be skeleton dust at the end of like at the end of Indiana
I love
3.
skeleton
Well, they're
dust.
just skeletons in their seats, completely turned to dust by the suckitude of this movie.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah,
You know?
that's worst case scenario. Anything about that probably good.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of shit that sucks.
This
out.
Even if
movie
it's
is
only
not.
50% of
This
the
movie
audience
is not
that happens to,
gonna
that's
suck
pretty
at all. This movie is gonna be fucking amazing.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be
very
great.
inspiring.
Wait a minute, I think there's
And
one question that I feel like
amazing
as the one
questions,
outsider, like I need to ask. So,
Yeah.
like, how did this even come together? Like, between everyone,
I wanna hear Chris'
like, was it who wrote it? Like, when it was, what was the concept? How did it get pushed forward to like bullshit? Thought idea.
Chris
push
is the
forward to
best
bullshit
person to
is
answer
such
this
a
question,
good
but I will answer this
Push forward
question
to bullshit?
in a micro way.
Past bullshit.
Which is that Chris and I met at a small movie theater in Brooklyn called Spectacle Theater. We're no longer affiliated with that place because of some
love was
shit
too
that
strong.
happened. Because our love was too strong.
Yeah.
But before
love
we
was too strong.
started dating, like when we had first become friends, he said to me, he was like, oh, I'm working on this script that's about a tacky beautician from New Jersey. I'm just a tacky regular girl from New Jersey with no beautician skills whatsoever. And he was like, you'd be great for it. And I went home and I told my friend, and she was like, because I had told her before, I was like, there's this guy, Chris, who worked in Spectacle, he's really cute and stuff. And she was like, he's just trying to get in your pants. And the truth is that he did want to get into my pants.
Yeah, but I also.
But he also wanted me to be in this movie.
Makeup in those pants.
Yeah, so-
Chris contains multiple.
Exactly. You know.
So anyway, you go ahead.
I just love funeral homes. My parents worked at a funeral home, and and I loved when I met you. I was like, oh, a beautician, like, you know, makeup. I always thought makeup was cool. I was like, I want to put those two things together. I thought it would be a great like concept for you, and you could do all this stuff that you do. And it just, one day I was at work, it came together. I wrote the first 2 scenes, sent them to Lindsay. I'm like, do you like this? And you're like, yeah, this is funny, this is good. And so we got together, Sarah, myself, and Phil Cherniak is the other guy who wrote the movie. And we got together for a year, 2
At
times
like
a week.
fucking Panera's and like
Yeah.
Pret a Manger.
Yeah.
And we had to eat all this bullshit food in order to make this me. I cannot tell you how many like fucking quinoa bowls I ate at like a corporate restaurant.
You loved it. Come on.
I had to do that in video diary.
How
I
many
get it.
$8 quinoa bowls with corporate dressing and the fucking corporate shaking up the bowl?
Your kidneys will thank you.
All right,
I
well,
love
yeah.
that's the food I incorporate.
Well, we were writing, and we'd send stuff to Lindsay,
with a
and
drizzle
then
of
they started on the physical production side with Erica Gressman, who was the producer, built a bunch of the sets. They got the Indiegogo together while we were writing, and in Chicago and New York, we were both working on it. Finally, made some money from the Indiegogo, bought the plane tickets. Everything started to get put together. We sent Lindsay the script. She's like, "We can't do this." She rewrote it, sent it to us.
I rewrote some of it. and
Yeah,
then
we
you
rewrote the
it
whole.
again.
Then we rewrote the whole thing in like a week. A week before we came, and we're like, okay, now this is pretty good. Got here. They met for the first time.
Yeah. Well, we've met
We'd
before.
met,
I met her
For
with a
2
scarf
seconds.
over her face, so I was
She
like,
didn't even
"What's
know what
she
I
really
looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, by just Chris, and I knew you're a hottie.
And,
so.
and
Wait, so you all dropped in Chicago
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came, just hung out with Lindsay one day. Went thrift store shopping. Next day, started shooting. Shot
I mean,
for a month.
and I had never acted before in anything other than like a few stray, like NYU student films when I was at NYU, like a few Tish things, and
You know, just.
you know,
That's the boot camp.
Whoa, it's coming out.
you know, a few Tish things. No, but I mean like barely. It was like one thing I like walked across.
You're not being-
I like walked on a sidewalk.
You're not on the stand. You're not being accused.
Yeah, she, I swore.
Legit.
I walked across a fucking sidewalk. But I smoked a cigarette too during that scene. In case anyone's
Speaking of which,
wondering,
it's
sorry, mom. But
I don't smoke, Mom.
But no, and then we showed up and it was like,
I think I
and it
rolled
was
this
like,
like
you
a
know, it
week
was like
ago.
nerve wracking because it was just like, is this gonna work?
Cigarette.
And
Nice new,
you know,
Carolina.
they
New
are
Carolina.
just.
Like losing my virginity.
Really, I mean, I
Yeah.
can't say enough without sounding like totally cheesy and like the person who's trying to be like sentimental in this, but like they really know what they're doing, and you get there and you see them behind the camera, and whatever they learned in film school, you know,
Not a
however
lot.
they ingested it, it
No.
turned into something. No, but it turns into something where they just make you feel comfortable doing it, and you like get because, you know. I didn't really understand, like, the camera has its own eyes, and you have to, like, just deal with whatever the camera sees. And, like, the first couple days, I'm just like, wait, what? I'm supposed to, like, make sure
was interesting seeing you
my
learn
camera, the camera sees my face, and just things like that. But then, you know, they just...
Open your eyes bigger was like
Yeah,
the
no,
biggest
I mean
thing,
they just know what they're doing. So, you know, when it comes down to like, oh, what would you tell like someone who's trying to do a film? I think that it's like if you're the person behind the camera or the person in front of the camera, I think it's just having that awareness of like what is the camera going to see and how much can you internalize that in terms of like making that the thing that you're either acting towards or the thing that you're setting up and making sure that it's seeing what it needs to see and in the right way.
Yeah.
So like we were talking about it earlier, like
Right now.
is it easier for you to deal with like green screen or not?
Yeah, because green screen
Like real life.
kind of
I
simplifies. it.
have a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've had to.
No, so was this easier than your last film, even though you had less resources, just because you had the more experience?
Yeah.
Or was it better to have more resources than experience?
I think this was easier.
Yeah, this was a lot
This is
easier.
easier
Because you know more what you want, and in the editing process, what you...
Yeah, like that was a big experiment. Like, and this is we're still experimenting.
Wait, can we
but,
say like what your last? Just so everybody knows. What was your last?
Last
experience?
movie was called Video Diary of a Lost Girl.
Yeah. It's called Battleship.
Video
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Battleship.
Potemkin.
But on that one, yeah, we learned what you learned. I think particularly exactly what you needed. You know. But,
Well, I was afraid of green screen for a long ass time, so
Yeah.
I'm still a little afraid of it, honestly, and that's what adds to
Oh,
it.
sorry. I think that just to jump in and make sure that your question gets answered in terms of the green screen stuff, I think that the thing that I noticed was the hardest is eyeline and positioning. Like, I think that the biggest thing is because, like, so you're in this amorphous space, right? And so you don't know exactly what is behind you.
Yeah.
And not as an actor, it's very easy because you can, you know where the camera is, and you're just like, okay, I'm just making sure that the camera sees me the right way. And I'm making sure that I'm doing the actions that the director wants me to do. But from the director's standpoint, and I saw Lindsay dealing with this a lot, and I'm not going to, you know, she dealt with it very well because she's used green screen before in her last film, Video Diary of a Lost Girl. But it's because she had to make sure that eye lines matched. She had to make sure that things that aren't there.
I'm looking at you, even though we're both just shot against the same surface, not a three-dimensional space.
Can I let loose a bomb really quick?
Yeah.
The scene between Chris and Casey, the set's a little different than it should be, but I can totally punch in and fix it.
Okay.
Why are you saying that? No one's gonna know.
No,
Why
don't
are you
know
saying
that.
Because I wanted to let you know.
Put that curtain back down.
I want to let you know what I have to deal with.
Listen,
What
there's
are you doing?
the thing is, when you do a movie
Put the
like
curtain
this,
down.
there's gonna be mistakes.
Yes.
If it's
Exactly.
if it's done well, the little things are not gonna matter that much.
The flowers
Oh,
can
shit,
be
did you guys
replaced
remember
by a
Report
picture
Sound?
frame. What?
Oh shit!
Sound is like the biggest
it's just
beast.
gonna be dogs barking. Dubbed in. That's
Yeah, just be like,
science fiction. Everybody's
They'll be-
vocal
they'll be-
cords.
Chris, let the
replaced by
dogs out.
vocal
dogs
cords.
barking Christmas carols.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like you know,
That you were
it's
playing along
hard
with that dumb bit.
to. It's no. It's, I think yeah. I don't know.
I think green screen is easier in some ways, and it seems to be harder in the other ways, just because you have to make sure that you're really on top of like a continuity that is only inside Lindsay's head for real.
Yeah.
Like, which is
Yeah, you
scary
take it.
because who knows what the fuck is in
Yeah.
here.
I know
But it's,
that.
but it's like, you know, when it's like with
Hair.
eyeline or with like the way that like we had an actress jump out a fake window, you know, like, and
That
so
would've been
she just
great.
has to go like this, you know, and it's just like. And only Lindsay knows what that window is going to look like.
Yeah.
It's going to mean, you know, when she goes and works on it and builds the models and imposes certain images. So I think,
I gotta build
I
those.
think it's like, you know, she had to be a stickler for certain things that I think maybe sometimes it's hard to communicate to the actors because the actors don't understand. But you can make them understand. You just have to be very explicit, and that's, you know, one of her biggest
Like,
jobs.
this is where the door is.
Yeah.
This is where the window is.
Yeah.
And it switches all of a sudden because I'm not sure.
I have one total last question. I'll leave it open effort.
I love your questions.
Like, so for sure, y'all are from New York. We're in Chicago, right? You made it happen, for sure. You're like doing what you fucking give a shit about. The question is, like, to people that are listening or watching or whatever, like, what is it that you did that enabled you to like pursue your passion, to make it here right now? Like, how do you give a fuck, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you do to make that happen? Because it's not easy.
Yeah. I think honestly, the biggest thing that we do is just trust each other, and like believe in each other. And I'm like, you know, I can do this. I know you can do that. I know you can do what you do. And it's like, okay, I trust you to do what you're gonna do. You trust me. You believe in me. I believe in you. And you work together. You know?
Yeah.
I think the other thing though too is that you know, me even probably, I hate to admit this, but less so than the two of them. It's like, this is a movie, right? It's about watching a shitload of fucking movies. You know, it's like if you really want to like, you know, make music or you're a fine artist or something, you have to really explore that. I mean, you know, those things are very important if you want to make a movie too. But it's like, I mean, these two people have seen so many fucking movies, and I mean the biggest pieces of crap to the biggest masterpieces. And I mean, and it's like, you know, when you go to write something, to make something, the vocabulary and just the imagery that you have in your mind is such a big part of it. And, you know, it's really, I think sometimes I've been in places, professionally or in various places that doesn't have to do with movies or things where I feel self-conscious because I'm like, oh, these people have experienced so much more than me or whatever. And the thing is that, that's a tough place to be in.
But that happens like even in film school.
Of course.
Too.
No,
like,
it happens
just,
all
like,
the time.
Like you just like become inundated with people that are just like, you're here and they
yeah, you think they're above, and the only thing that you can do in that situation is just go and see more. Go and experience more and go and watch more. And
you have to love it.
And I don't think, and it's also about really allowing it to become like a part of who you are.
Yeah, you really,
and like really, really enjoying it, and not just being like, I think I want to do this, so I'm gonna try to like make myself like this. I think it's more just about being like, how much do I really love this thing? And the thing is that it's. I mean, I don't want to like make any weird judgment or anything, but it's just like, I think that when you watch movies that are made by people who just want to make movies, who don't love movies, I think that you can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to live, breathe films, and I think that's like
As mental.
just you brainwash yourself in a way, and then you just can think in images. That's how you can do that.
Films, yeah.
Well, I remember the reason I got into filmmaking back when I was 14, 15 was because of my friends. I just wanted to hang out with my friends more.
That's still kind of what we do.
Yeah. It's like Chris is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, so was it an excuse for you to just like chill?
Yeah, definitely. Like, the first film I made was a piece of shit, but, like, I got to hang out with my friends, in a long-term way that I didn't understand, really. It was, like, in a creative way, which
you get
is,
to
like...
bond.
Yeah, and...
Because you bond differently when you work with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit on a couch and hang out with somebody forever and just be like, oh, this show is funny. But your friendship becomes different when you're like, give me that thing. Okay, that. What are we going to do now? How is this going to work? You know what I mean? And it's like,
and
it's
your
just
answer is
like, wait.
different than my answer.
Exactly, and it's just like, wait, no, I'm thinking this. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
We're a different kind of friends now.
Yeah. Our
just
friendship
like
has
us,
evolved.
This
into
kind of
mutated
brings me
monster.
up into the question of how is it that this film was written? What was the process for you guys to just like come up with this idea and just like say like, yeah, this is what I want to do, and like this is what this character is gonna say to this other one. How did you guys write this film?
I mean,
How did this happen?
we discussed it.
Yeah, through Gmail or GChat.
Yeah, we're
Chat.
both at our 9 to 5, whatever
Hashtag.
jobs.
Yeah, we were both in office jobs
Yeah,
at
just
the
like
time.
G-chatting, like, what about this? What about what if this happens? And I would talk to you and be like,
they're
what
like, oh,
if
I
this
love
happens?
that. I love this.
Wrote an outline, and we're like, okay. Then you start to sit down and try to do it, and then,
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's weird because it's a good example of how millennials deal with like making art and everything. So
Are you millennials?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I made my first film I ever made was called Gen X, the discrimination music. I didn't know we were not Gen X.
Anybody, Lindsay, you're a millennial.
I'm a millennial. I'm an indigo girl.
Yeah, but like, how did you write this film? How did you write this film?
Where you get the child
Yeah.
that you're trying to say.
Twice a week, got together, 3 of us, sat down, talked it out, fought, struggled to write together.
I mean, I watched from the bleachers pretty
Yeah.
much
You know,
until the very,
yeah.
very last stretch, pretty much.
No, I mean, a lot of it is that we came up with the outline, and then we sat down and rewrote the dialogue, and it was like, what works and what guides us forward, but then it was also like making each other laugh and things like that. I mean, more than anything, Chris was kind of like the person between the three of us, me, Chris, and Phil, who were writing it, who was like trying to keep everything sane. Because Phil and I,
Which is weird.
When we were writing, they would just want to make
we would
each other
just
laugh.
go into hysterics, and we would have to rein it in. But then
Also knowing that you're going to shoot the movie, you have to be like, what can you do?
Yeah.
And
you didn't know what I really
someone
could
would
do.
say something, I'd be like, I don't think we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave you guys kind of complete freedom though in the beginning.
No, but I mean,
write whatever you think is good.
I think that is a big thing
It's
too.
an important thing because people write what they can't accomplish.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like at what point do you can't do that, and so you just have a lot of shit that you're shopping around maybe.
I think you have to come to terms with the reality of the the
Materials.
physically what you can do, and that doesn't limit. I don't think that limits your art. Like I think like it just makes your art more real.
Yeah, it
You know
depends
what
on
I
how
mean?
many
Like,
skulls you have.
I think the biggest change that actually happened between like the first iteration of the script when it was just like anything's possible to then, you know, after Lindsay had done a draft and we did the final draft, was that something that happened was we went from a lot of visual gags, which Phil, one of the writers, is definitely like, you know, he's schooled in like a certain, you know, 70s, 80s comedy kind of trope that's very much about like physical payoffs. Whereas like with
We don't
what
have
we
Danny
ended
Glover
up
in the budget.
what we ended up with was like more of just dialogue driven jokes, not so much as like, oh, and then we show this and someone has this thing and then it's like ha ha ha. You know, it was a lot more about just being like, what can this person say that's funny? And that's it. They're sitting here,
cheap. It's easy.
you know, in this cheap setup and they just say this thing and hopefully people think it's funny.
Yeah, Roger Corman's like kind of formula, I think.
Yeah,
He talked
script.
Bucket of Blood,
Yeah.
like, because he could shoot a really good script in a week.
Yeah.
You know, so, and we did it in a month.
Yeah, we're not
So-
as good. We gotta
No.
get better.
Yeah.
Well, Lindsay, can I ask you one other question? Thinking of that, like, we're here in this space, and I think that you'll see this space maybe at some point, and you shot it in the other space. To my knowledge, there's 2 spaces.
Yeah,
correct?
my house, so.
So you did it, like, so in your mind, you broke it down, right? So how do we end up here right now?
Well, when I was breaking it down, like, even the shots that, or the scenes that we shot at the house, I was originally thinking of doing green screen, but then it was like, okay, what can we make this more variety, pretty
Yeah.
much, you know, like, how can we blend that all together? So I'm like, what can we get away with at the house, and let's do that there, and anything we can't do that's too big for the house, we'll do a green screen, which was a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and luckily William came to the rescue,
Yeah.
so...
So lucky.
Yeah.
Thank you. William.
Like, I actually realized like
Guys,
shooting
we're
at a
fighting
different
so
space
bad you guys
other than
did
my
this
house
here.
is much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
But we like can try to mix like real locations and the green screen because it just it's a nice collage effect. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And,
that's the best way to put it.
You know, and that's why the script is so important because if the script is solid and pushes you along, visually you can really do anything. Because people, once they like the characters, once they're following the dialogue, that's what we talked about in the other film we did. I was like, if the script is solid, if people can follow this and like this, that's where the experiment comes in. What visually, what can you do?
You can do anything. then.
Exactly.
So
You know? So we use the trope of a pretty conventional kind of script, but it's gonna be the green screen is your canvas. It's gonna look wild. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like that's
and this script is almost even more conventional in just
Yeah.
like a Hollywood way, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
which is, but it's like that weird downtrodden Hollywood or something, you know, that Ken Hanger would like, you know, write
Yeah.
about. So
I mean, the other thing that I think also brought, you know, 2 people from, you know, Brooklyn to Chicago, not just because Lindsay's here and she's based here, but it's also just there are spaces like this that you can come to and work in, like, you know,
and cool people.
like, you
Yeah,
know, William
a lot
has been
easier.
so fantastic to be around, and also his space is so amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, there are spaces like this in New York and in Brooklyn, but it's like, you know, you gotta suck some dicks in order to get in them. You know? And like, I didn't suck a dick to get here. I don't think any
I
of you
sucked
guys
3.
did.
No comment.
they weren't
But
people I knew.
But
very
you know, it's like you know, she just did it anyway. But it's like, what's
I
from
have
her?
my hobbies, you know. There's more than
Hobbies.
It's
filming.
just about her, you know. That's different.
Yeah, you know.
What I do in my downtime.
What you do in your own time, but
It's not my own time. It's movie time.
No, and I think, but I think also that being here in Chicago was great for us too, because we met so many people who are, you know, really interesting artists and doing so many interesting things.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit more freedom here because it's a little bit cheaper than living in New York.
It's a baby
and,
New York.
you know, you get a little bit more space, and I think that one of the best things too is that in New York right now I feel like there's really a thing where like persona is this big thing, and like people really trying to like sell themselves and their
Yeah.
thing, and even if they're
yeah, can I say people are more willing to give their art and artistry here
yeah.
without trying to to sell
Make
it,
money.
you know,
Yeah.
at least in this.
Everything I feel
No
like
one's ever gonna
in New
win.
York,
No
most
nation.
people that you meet,
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
like most people that you meet there, even if they were like trying to be the most underground, most punk person, it still seems like they're eventually doing it with a sell plan, with like a business plan at the very end of it. And I felt like here, it just seemed like we met a lot of people who really just wanted creative and interesting things to happen.
Yeah, who seemed to be like their values were like they were living them, which is really important. Like this movie is made in like as much of like a kind of independent punk way that we can. That's kind of where we come from.
For a thing like background, like where are you all from?
We're from Florida. You're from New Jersey.
Florida.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just two terrible places.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the two worst places in the country, basically.
Yeah. But yeah. So we I think we try to take that kind of like ethics and making film
They
like this
say
and
we're
music.
the best that came out of UCF.
That's
so.
great. We're the best people that came out of a
We're the
second,
most successful
third-tier university.
in a way.
But I think that we try to take those values and make them the movie that way, and I think people here agreed with that.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah. Florida, Chicago transports.
Woo!
So